From the second you open the October 2008 issue of WWE magazine, you're not flipping pages. You're flipping into a parallel universe where gravity bends to charisma, pain becomes currency, and myth is written in sweat. This is not just a magazine. It's a manifesto, a collision of ink and intensity, paper and power bombs, wrapped in glossy chaos and printed defiance. You're greeted not with a whisper, but with the roar of a sold-out crowd, the pop of pyro, and the pulse of a Titantron countdown. The cover, headlined by John Cena in full war-ready mode, dares you to keep reading if your heart can handle it. And inside, it only gets louder, harder, faster. The first spread detonates into action with a feature on the parking lot brawl between Cena and JBL, a savage car crash of a match that left glass shattered, heads busted, and reputations redefined. These weren't just still photos. These were crime scene shots from a war zone where dignity was stripped and engines screamed louder than the fans. Cena wasn't wrestling that night. He was surviving. JBL wasn't healing. He was hunting. The article paints their brutal ballet of blood and broken bumpers as a symphony of steel, a poetry of punishment that defined what hardcore really meant in the PG era. Just as your pulse starts to settle, the next piece yanks it back to life. Chris Jericho, no longer the wisecracking Y2J, but now the cold, calculating best in the world at what he does, delivers an icy sermon on why he hurts people. Gone is the sparkle jacket. In its place is a suit and sneer that would make any villain proud. His words cut like code breakers, clinical, cruel, and captivating. Jericho speaks with a philosopher's mind and a sadist's smile, dissecting the business as both theater and threat. Flip the page and you're thrown into the air alongside Evan Bourne, whose gravity-defying assault has turned heads and twisted spines. The feature on Bourne is a rocket launch, elevating him as the future of high-flying, a human highlight reel who lives between the ropes and lands wherever the pain is loudest. In contrast, The Miz gets a splashy showcase of his own. Less flight, more fight, all ego. Fresh off his reality TV pedigree, Miz exudes raw bravado, unearned arrogance, and just enough undeniable charisma to keep the hate flowing and the ratings rising. But then the storm slows, the lights dim, and out walks Matt Hardy. In one of the most grounded, brutally honest features in the issue, Hardy reflects on a full decade of struggle, triumph, and heartbreak. From enhancement talent to beloved veteran, his journey is etched in steel chairs, splintered ladders, and the echoes of Hardy losers, screamed by crowds who would soon chant his name in reverence. His voice isn't bitter, it's baptized in experience. Hardy opens up about the early days, grinding in front of 15 people, chasing respect when the company only offered him pain. He talks about the new generation, the ones who got contracts without scars, TV time without trials, and while he doesn't name names, the message is loud. Respect isn't given, it's bled for. He recalls his brother Jeff, their moments of madness, and their legacy that even now feels unfinished. Elsewhere in the issue, WWE's monthly recaps read not like recaps, but like battlefield dispatches. ECW's talent is listed with the tone of a wanted poster. Finlay and Hornswoggle brawl through tag chaos. Guerrero and Bourne trade sparks. The tag division explodes as Miz and Morrison, future Hall of Fame level chemistry, clash with rising stars. On SmackDown, The Undertaker haunts Edge's shadow, and Triple H defends his throne with sledgehammer sermons. On Raw, Batista, Cena, and Punk form a combustible triangle of title aspirations, while Orton looms like a viper in the grass. These aren't just match results. These are declarations of war, each paragraph another casualty in the non-stop grind of sports entertainment. And then there's the Legends section, a flashback to eras when men were monsters and the ring was the only place where truth lived. You get a piece on the best Intercontinental champions, a shrine to the gold belt that defined workhorse greatness. Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, Razor Ramon. The list reads like scripture, and every entry is a love letter to mid-card royalty who made Monday nights must-see. Meanwhile, divas get their due in glossy, stylized spreads that ride the edge of glamour and grit. Michelle McCool, Maria, and Beth Phoenix remind us that beauty and brutality are not mutually exclusive. Each photo shoot is framed like a magazine within a magazine. Fashion meets fight, cover girl meets clothesline. The back pages fire off rapid rounds of humor, trivia, and chaos. The rulebook exposed throws kayfabe out the window with a wink, finally answering the eternal fan questions like, why does the ref always get knocked out so easily? And can someone legally use the ropes for leverage? It's tongue-in-cheek and fourth wall breaking in all the best ways. DVD ads scream for attention with blood-red fonts. Hell in a Cell, the most dangerous matches. Fans write in letters, some praising, some trolling, all passionate. There's even a full calendar breaking down every live event, every show taping, every heartbeat of WWE's relentless schedule. The sheer volume of content makes your eyes ache and your heart full. This isn't a passive read. It's a workout. It's a war. By the time you reach page 100, you feel like you've survived something. Not just a magazine, but a proving ground. This issue of WWE Magazine from start to finish is a showcase of how storytelling, performance, and physicality collide to create something larger than life. It's a moment in time when Cena was both myth and man, when Jericho rewrote the villain handbook, when Punk was a champion with a chip the size of Chicago on his shoulder, and when Matt Hardy reminded us that sometimes the most hardcore thing a wrestler can do is simply endure. If you ever loved this business, if you ever hit pause on a suplex midair just to rewind and watch it again, if you ever screamed, "You still got it" from the cheap seats, or posted in wrestling forums until your fingers bled, this magazine is your relic, your Rosetta Stone, your sacred scroll. So here's the call. If you believe wrestling isn't fake, it's faith, then hit that like button, share this with every lifer in your locker room, and subscribe for more. Because these aren't just stories, these are sermons. And every month, we crack the pages open, step between the ropes, and speak the gospel of greatness. This has been From the Pages.